I'm going to introduce our speaker, Dr. Chris Maguire. And Dr. Chris earned her degree in 1994 from Logan College of Chiropractic in St. Louis, Missouri. She's built a strong patient base here in the greater Portland area. She's located in Scarborough. She does a lot in the community. She's been awarded the Business Woman of the Year and has been president of the Business and Professional Women Doctors Organization. She's also been a longtime volunteer and speaker for the Cancer Community Center. And she's even been featured in the Chicken Soup for the Chiropractic Soul. So let's welcome Dr. Chris.
Thank you for having me. This won't be as fun and cute as the doggy safe and dry, but I'll see what I can do. Congratulations to all of you that are here, because I'm sure more people would be here, but they're too stressed. So it's good of you to make it a priority. So I'm Dr. Chris. I am a chiropractor in Scarborough, and we're going to talk about balancing health and work. It's all about balance this year, right? So let's talk about work stress first. All of these things, right? Doing more for the same pay. We've cut down, they've laid off people and given you more jobs. We're not paid enough. Maybe you have a manager that you don't get along with. It's a dead end when you want to advance, or you don't feel passionate about what you do. Maybe your work takes you away from your family, or you're tired at the end of the day. These are all stressors, right? A lot of you work for yourself, so maybe you have a good relationship with the boss there. And then how do you perceive stress? There's other stress besides work stress, right? There's money problems, relationship problems, family challenges, children, losses in our life, and sometimes it's just life in general, right? Like we feel like this little kid here some days. So how do you handle stress? So at work, sometimes we feel like we should work more hours, right? And even more so for the ones that own our own practice and business sometimes, right? So is that going to get you your answers? There's the law, you've probably heard this, the principle of diminishing returns. And if you add more hours, at some point you become less efficient and proficient. So keep that in mind. Just because you add more time, you can actually get less done, right? And you think of that. I do that all the time. It's like you're more multitasking and not focusing, and you get more tired. And then in general, if you're working more, you're doing less exercise, right? You're not eating right, you have less time with your family, and what does that do? That increases your stress even more. So think about that. That's not quite the answer, just by adding more work hours. Anybody know Bernie Siegel? Right? Love, Medicine, and Miracles, one of my favorite books. And so he said, it's often said that stress is one of the most destructive elements in people's daily lives, but that's only half the truth. He said the way we react to stress appears to be more important than the stress itself. And we know that to be true, right? You see that in people around you. It's not about what happens to us, it's how we react to that and how we handle stress. We can't control a lot of the things that happen to us, but it's how we control the way we handle that is what's most important. And the life coaches are all shaking their heads at it. Yes, yes. So why is adapting to stress so important? Right? We know all about what can happen with stress. The blood pressure goes up, and your chances of health, good health, just go down. So we want to get a handle on our stress. So this is one of my favorites. I know this screen doesn't quite fit in there, but this is one of my favorite little pictures here. All the way to the left is illness, and all the way to the right is wellness. Okay, so if you're alive, if you're here today, you're somewhere in between illness and wellness. That's the good news. So under illness, it says disease, so multiple medications, poor quality of life, your potential becomes limited and your body has limited function. Okay? Now on the other side, all the way to wellness, you have optimal health, 100% function. Everything in your body is working on a daily basis perfectly. You have continuous development, your active participation in life and in your health, and you live the wellness lifestyle. Okay? Right in the middle, probably can't read that all of this too well, but the comfort zone, and it says false wellness, right? You're maintaining your health, which means you have no symptoms yet, right? That's how we sometimes go by, that's how we determine if we're healthy or not, right? Well, I don't have any symptoms, I feel okay, and we'll talk more about that after, but if your nutrition is inconsistent, you exercise sporadic, your health is a low priority, you're not making those lifestyle choices to go toward wellness, then you might be just in the middle. And as you move toward disease, you're starting to get the symptoms, you start taking one medication, maybe two, and if you do regular exercise, good nutrition, wellness exercise, get adjusted, you will go toward wellness. Does that make sense? So every choice you've made in your life has led to this point. There's nothing you can do about the past. Every decision you make from here forward, though, will determine how well and how long you live, okay? And those are two different numbers, right? How well you live and how long you live. The average functional lifespan of in the United States is 66, and the average lifespan is about 77. Okay, so what's that 11 years in there? Yeah, right? Don't we think, oh, getting old, right? Back in the day, the elders were the ones that had the wisdom. They lived, fine. They functioned a lot longer. So you want to keep, that 11 years is your kids taking care of you, or the assisted living, or the nursing home. So you want to keep those numbers together as well as you can. So, if you look at this graph, you don't have to answer out loud, but kind of picture where you are today and which way do you want to go. The body is so amazing that I always say, if you just drink more water, you don't listen to anything else I say tonight, if you just drink more water, you're going to be healthier. You're going to go toward wellness, and your body will physiologically change to be healthier. So, and if you do more than that, that's even better. But your body's always changing. You're always going one way or the other. So remember that through your day. What are you doing in those choices that you're making all day? Are you going toward illness or going toward wellness? And that's a good way to kind of gauge how you're doing. So where are you and which way do you want to go? Well, I assume everybody wants to go toward wellness and less stress. All right, well, the choices you make today will determine your future tomorrow. And if you continue to live the typical American lifestyle, you will get the typical American outcome, right? Those are the big killers in the United States: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, okay? Heart disease and cancer have been going back and forth as the number one in the last few years. So those three things are, happening because of our American lifestyle. And it's, just going up and up, right? The numbers are not going down. We have more medicine, more physicians, more money, more research than ever in most countries, right? But our health is not going down. We're 31 or so in the whole world, according to the World Health Organization, in health. We're ranked 31. So we're not even in the top 10. So something's got to give. So what choices are you making to create a healthy, balanced future? So let's look at what true health is, right? What does it mean? Does it mean that we feel okay, we don't have any symptoms? No, it's actually a state of optimal physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of symptoms or disease. Okay, just because you feel okay doesn't mean everything's functioning right. So it's a state of optimal function is what health is. So how does our body function? All right, go way back to like 5th grade science, right? What controls the function of everything in our body? So our brain, our spinal cord, and our nerves. So the better that works, the healthier you'll be, because the brain and the nerves control everything. Your eyes, ears, nose, throat, heart, lungs, stomach, intestines, all those things that you don't think about all day long, but function great. So the better those are working, the healthier you'll be. So your nervous system is what processes and filters the stress that you're exposed to, okay? You can't control that. I think there's a stress test. The survey is if you want to be entered into an hour massage drawing tonight, if you fill that out. But the stress test is yours to take with you, so you can take that and kind of get an idea of what stresses are in your life and what, you can look at them and say, okay, I can control this, I can cut out caffeine or add more water or whatever. Some are done and over with, you can't do anything about them, but there are some in there that you can control. So look at that, it's a good way of seeing where you're at and where you want to go, right? Awareness is the first step to change, so that's a good place to start. So your nervous system is filtering the stress that you're exposed to. And your nervous system is the interface between your outside world and your inside world. So it's taking in all this information, right? Whether it's hot in here, whether it's cold in here. If it's really, really hot, your nervous system picks that up, and if your body's working right, you start sweating, right? Your respiration might go up. If you went out and ran, then your heart rate would go up, your blood pressure would go up, your sweat. That's all smart things so the body can deal with that stress, and the nervous system controls that. There won't be too much more science, don't worry. So the ability of your nervous system to handle the demands placed on your body is what determines whether you will have adaptation to that stress and health. So you have the basic deal that you have to remember is that the outside stress is up against your internal resistance. That's what it all comes down to. Okay, so kind of remember this. So the three types of stresses, physical, chemical, emotional, not just, we talked about more emotional stresses in the beginning, all those things that we listed, but there's also physical stresses. What are some physical stresses that we have today? Shoveling snow, yes. Shoveling snow. How about sitting all day? How about sitting at a computer all day? So you got the low back sitting, and then you have, the upper back and neck on the computer. So that all adds up. All the things that you did to your spine and your body growing up, right? Children fall an average of 3,000 times before the age of 3. Think of it. I mean, if you ever watch your kids or your grandkids, I can't even handle it. My nieces and nephews, oh my gosh. I want to adjust them every, 10 minutes. Like, get over here again. But yeah, they fall and they hit their head, and so we've fallen off beds, out of trees, off bikes, downstairs, on the ice, off horses, a crazy amount. So that is all physical stresses. Car accidents, sports injuries, work injuries. Chemical stresses. What are some chemical stresses?
Air pollution.
Pollution.
Might be meds.
Meds.
Certain meds you take.
Yep. Anything else?
Non-organic diet.
Non-organic diet, right. The chemicals that are in our food, right? The food additives, preservatives, all the colorings, those are all chemicals.
Secondhand smoke.
That's huge.
Secondhand smoke. Firsthand smoke. Pollution. What was that? Household cleaning products. Yeah, you guys are smart. Very good. Yeah, so those chemical, that's a stress on our body. Does anybody know why that's a stress on our body? We have to filter it out, right? And our body wasn't designed to filter that stuff. This is all new, and since the Industrial Revolution, and our body just doesn't know how to deal with that. So it just stresses it out, and there's toxic overload, and so that's chemical, emotional, and physical. Anybody have any of those today? Very, very.
Could be pills and more pills too.
What's that?
Pills and more pills.
Yes.
I mean, we pop the pills, and that's all chemical reaction too.
Yes. Yes. And over the counter, as well as prescription, are chemical stress on the body. Yes. And then the interaction, if you're on more than one, for sure. So, again, the nervous system is the interface between this. So you have the outside forces, and then your nervous system's taking all of this in, emotional, physical, or chemical. And then you have your internal resistance. Okay, so remember that last one. You have the outside and the inside coming in. So here, when the outside forces exceed the internal resistance, so you got all this stuff coming in, and your internal resistance isn't strong enough, you start getting sick, right? Disease and destruction. Things start breaking down. And my mom always said, it's your nerves. That's how she always used to say it. Not stress. That's kind of a newer word. But if we had anything, anything, we started laughing as we got older. We're like, Mom, you always say that. She would say, it's your nerves. But really, that's what it came down to, you know, weren't getting enough sleep, or we were worried about a test, or, you know, trouble with a friend or something like that. And so when that internal resistance isn't strong enough, and you all see it, right? When you don't get enough sleep or you're stressed about something. When I took physics, the midterm and the final, I got the flu. I just was so stressed out about it. I hated physics. And so when the internal resistance meets the outside forces, okay, so the stress is coming in, but if your internal resistance is strong enough, you get health, right? Who has an office, again, some of you are by yourself, but who has an office where everybody's getting sick and it's just going all around? Nobody in our office has had a sick day yet this year, and all the patients that come in are like, oh, my whole office is sick, it's going around.
Doesn't have to be the office, walk into a grocery store.
Yeah, everybody's, yeah, exactly. And it's not about, you know, the germs. I'm exposed to germs when, you know, patients come in that they've been exposed to germs, but it's about that internal resistance, and we'll talk about how you do that. So does that make sense? You got to pay attention to, again, you try to control what you can outside, but building up the inside. And that's why some people get sick and some people don't, right? It's not about the germ. We're all exposed pretty much to the same thing. Some of those germs are in us all the time. It's just when our internal resistance goes down, we get strep throat, for example. You know, even with the big ones like AIDS, not everybody gets AIDS, right? They find that some people just have HIV. Well, the ones that get AIDS are the ones that are weakened, okay? Then that happens with all of those bad germs. So the nervous system is the window to your health. So how do you know if the outside stresses have caused hidden health problems? You don't necessarily if you feel okay. If you have symptoms, then you know that they have, but if not, you don't necessarily know. Then you should get your nervous system evaluated by a wellness chiropractor. And a lot of people today, I find, want to know if chiropractic can help them. You know, so I did put this section in. It's not sales. I'm not high pressure or anything. But I find when I'm out doing health fairs and things, there's more people coming to us and saying, you know, can you help me? Versus, you know, 10 years ago or so, when it was more like, you know, I don't know enough about that, I'm scared of it. So there's a little bit about chiropractic in here, and then we'll get to what the rest of it. So in my office, if you came in, we would do a full evaluation. We'd look at your nerves. So there's a thermal scan, static EMG, and a posture exam. So the static EMG looks at your muscles, so that muscle tension, right? And we can see if there's imbalances of those muscles. So that lets us know if you have misalignments in your spine. And this is what it looks like. Has anybody been to a chiropractor here? Awesome. Anybody in the last 2 weeks? Cool. Anybody's chiropractor do this? Have you seen this before? Okay, good, awesome. So this lets your chiropractor know what's going on underneath the surface, whether you feel okay or not. So someone can feel okay, and we get this and we say, okay, you have a lot of muscle tension. All those colors are tension. So then we do the other part of the test to look at the autonomic nerves, which is just everything that I listed before that works without you thinking about it. And it comes out with the same colors. And we can see, you know, a lot of people actually will come in with their low back will look fine, but they'll come in with low back pain, and it's all, you know, most of the problems are in the neck. That happens a lot. So you have to check the whole spine, and you have to see what's going on underneath the surface. So then we usually take x-rays, and that lets us know what's going on as far as any arthritis or loss of curves that should be there, like this. So this is a normal one of it's a side view of your neck, okay? So what we look at are the curve, should be like a C, and then we look at the black, the spaces in between the bones are the disc spaces. So we can't see the disc necessarily, but we can see the space that it's taking up. So we can see this is normal, and this is not. Okay, so see how squished down those bones are? And then you've lost that curve that should look like that. It's actually gone backwards. So this is, you know, years and years after one of those good falls that I mentioned. If it's not being taken care of, this is what you start to see. And then, so when you have those misalignments in your spine, it can put pressure on nerves and the nerves that control the muscles and all the other things. So that's why, if you've heard how different things get better with chiropractic, that's why, because it's helping realigning the spine so the nerves work better. So, asthma, headaches, migraines, ear infections on little kids, heartburn, acid reflux, allergies, and not just the neck pain, low back pain kind of stuff. So the most important thing is trying to manage the 3 types of stress. So these are the 3 secrets. This is why you're all here. Okay, so remember that picture. You want to manage the outside forces. So take that test or find one online, talk to a life coach about your analyzing and looking at your stresses. So you want to identify those, identify past traumas, and if you need to take care of those, take care of those. And reduce or eliminate your toxins, all those things that we listed, okay? And I'm not saying throw out all your medication and go off them cold turkey. You don't want to do that, but if there are things that might do better without the chemicals, antidepressants, a lot of people do fish oil instead. Even cholesterol, high blood pressure, fish oil, great for lots of things. So there's research you can do. You can talk to people about what you can do to get off medications, or maybe sometimes you can't get off there, and that's fine too. But look at the list and see what you can control. So managing the outside forces, right? And not just emotional stresses, that is physical stresses too. Are you not moving around during the day? If you drink more water, you'll have to go to the bathroom more, so you have to get up from your seat and move more. So that's, full spectrum. Right. It's good stuff. So the second one is increasing your internal resistance, right? And this is huge. I could talk for 4 hours on these things. Actually, I have that six-week program that I talked about last time. It's a 3-right program. There's a flyer for it back there. And I talk about these things for 6 weeks. So if this is something you really want to learn about, you can talk to me afterwards. But literally, these are just quick here, but you can go into depth. But I'll give you the idea. So eat well, right? Good nutrition, hydration. Very vague, but you hopefully have an idea of what that is. And if not, Chris McClay is back there, right? And moving well. So moving well, chiropractic care helps move your spine, the joints, but also you obviously want to exercise, move the whole body, get the blood flowing, get the lymphatic system flowing. Yoga I put in there, but obviously there's lots of different choices of exercise. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and run a marathon. Just do more than what you're doing now. Baby steps. Just add something. And then thinking well. All of those positive things, meditation, prayer, positive self-talk, right? What do you say to yourself? Do you call yourself an idiot when you drop the pen? That's not good. If you've been doing that for 40 years, it's really not good. And then if you're doing it out loud and your kids are hearing you do it, they're going to start doing it. So be nice to yourself. Don't talk to yourself any worse than you would talk to your friend. Affirmations, we all know what those are, right? Saying something in the positive present tense. I'm happy, I'm healthy. Even if you don't believe it when you're saying it, slowly you will. Your subconscious will start to believe it, but also you will physiologically change. 10 greatest passions. I don't know where I picked this up, but I read this somewhere. You write down your 10 greatest passions, and every week or month or every other week, kind of don't stress yourself out about it, but pick a schedule and do that, do each one, and then that will ground you more. It will bring you back to, what's important to you, and even if it's walking on the beach, I live like 10 minutes from the beach. I hardly ever go there, compared to how much I want to. So some of these things that we really, really love, we're not doing anymore. So that's a really good exercise. And, for some people, reading, some people journaling, some people have pets, and just love, love the people around you, be around people who love you, and pets count for that. And then rest well. Really, really important, especially this time of year, to build up that internal resistance, is getting a good night's sleep. And if you want to email me, I can send you a list of 50 sleep tips. I also do an hour talk on that. But they're listed, so you don't really need to listen to me necessarily. But I can email you that. But to get a good quality and quantity of sleep, so 7 to 9 hours is the average for an adult. But you really got to get that good quality, right? Fall asleep, sleep hard, and if you don't, sometimes it just takes a couple of things that you can tweak. So tonight I'm going to offer a 20% discount on my 3-Right program. It starts next Wednesday night, and it'll be $75 instead of $95 if you want to. If you're thinking of that. And then, so the third secret, so you want to decrease what's coming in, right? Strengthen what's inside. And then the third secret is just finding what's going on now and as far as your spine and your nervous system and fixing that. So just as kind of a recap, your lifestyle, right? Those stresses affect your nervous system, and that directly affects your health. So balance. So the better you can do those 3 key things, the more balanced you will feel. You will be reminded of what is important in life. You will rearrange your priorities, really important. You will sleep better and handle stress better. You will have more energy, and you will feel more in control of your life and your health. Yeah. And then I'll just end with this. All right. Any questions?
Your email address.
Yes. Good one. It's Dr. Maguire, DrMaguire at, it's really long, Scarborough Family Chiro, not chiropractic though, the chiro.com. And actually there are business cards back there with, it should be on there. Yeah. And if you have any questions about anything I said, you can email me. And you can also email me if you want to be put on my weekly newsletter from Dr. Chris's desk. It's hardly ever about chiropractic. It's always about eating right, moving right, thinking right, some sort of article I get from somewhere else and pass it on to you guys. So,
Well, thank you.
good, thank you.